Today we are going to learn about 5 things from a story or from an encounter that Jesus had with people, and there was a lot of transformation that happened. Uh, I'm basing my talk from that story in the book of Luke, chapter 7, from verse 11. It is a story where Jesus, together with his disciples and a very big multitude, decided to go to a city called Nain. And as they were going towards Nain, they came to a point where there was a gate. And on the other side, the opposite direction, there was a coffin that was carried by a lot of people. The Bible actually says a crowd, and they were going to bury that particular person who had died. And that particular person who had died was a boy of a widow whose name is not given in the Bible. And when they met at the gate of the city, Jesus stopped them. And when he saw the woman crying very much, the Bible says that Jesus had compassion on that particular lady. And when she had compassion, she told her to weep not, or to stop crying. And after that, Jesus spoke some words, and he said that that boy should rise again. And the boy rose. And when the boy became alive again, there was a lot of celebration and there was a lot of happiness there. And then Jesus presented that young man to the mother, and the story goes like that. But there are several things that I want us to learn from that particular story. One, we have seen that Jesus, together with his disciples and a big crowd, decided to go to Nain. The issue here is Jesus is usually followed by two sets of people, or God is usually followed by two sets of people. There are those disciples and there is the crowd. The disciples had an encounter, a first-hand encounter with Christ. They knew each other. They knew Christ very well, and Christ knew them very well. So they had that kind of a fellowship where they knew each other. But this other crowd was just following them because they wanted to see the miracles that Jesus was performing. And at one point, they also needed to be fed. Remember the feeding of the 5,000. So they were following Jesus with an intention of benefiting from following him. And my question is, among these two sets of people, where do you, my brother and my sister, belong to? Are you a disciple? Do you have that personal encounter with Christ? Or are you among the mass or the multitude that just follows Christ? That is one. Number two is that they met. Jesus was coming this way, and the mourners were coming from the other direction, and they met at the gate. And when they met at the gate, there was an encounter, and that encounter brought a lot of changes. My brother and my sister, may you locate your gate today so that you may have an encounter with Christ. May you encounter Christ at the gate so that your life will change. Because God is willing to change your life. He is willing to improve your life. He is willing to make your life better. May your life be made better by Christ after meeting with him at the gate. So can you locate the gate today so that you may have that encounter and the change that was there? And when they met, the Bible says that Jesus had compassion. My brother and my sister, I want to tell you that we have a compassionate God, a God who is loving, a God who is caring, a God who is willing to do something good to your life. The same way he did a good thing to this widow. Remember, this was a widow. She had lost a husband. She was very desperate. She had now lost a son. She was feeling at the lowest point of her life, and she was very desperate. But in her desperation, Christ appeared. And when Christ appeared, her desperation turned to be celebration. And that is what God intends to do to your life. He wants to change your life for the better. May you have an encounter with Him so that He may change your life. May He be compassionate to you so that He may do something great to your life. Doesn't matter where you come from or your name or your social status. This lady was a widow, someone who was not valued in the society. But when she had an encounter, then things changed. The Bible does not give her a name. She had no name. But God had an encounter with her. So it doesn't matter your name, doesn't matter your clan, doesn't matter where you come from. What matters is you meet with Christ and He's going to change your life. After God changing her life, she was told to weep not. May your weeping stop.